afternoon, board members, Mr. Santos, district staff, and extended UIZ family and other individuals listening in. Time is 12:02 p.m. on this 22nd day of September 2020, and I call this meeting of the United Independent School District Board of Trustees to order. I have all the board members that are present here and online. Recite their full name, please.
Judd Gilpin. Javier Montemayor.
Ricardo Molina.
Ricardo Rick Rodriguez.
Juan Roberto Ramirez.
All right, myself, Ramiro Benito III. Let the record show that quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that the notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. We'll begin with agenda item 1, Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
For which it stands,
one nation,
one nation, under God.
with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God,
one and indivisible.
Thank you. Agenda item 2, no public comment submitted. Agenda item 3, items for individual consideration. Item 3A, discussion and possible action regarding class size waivers.
Mr. Ellis, I think we have the informational items. I don't know.
You pass it.
Do we go information on that?
Yes, yes. You want to do that first?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so we have.
Action item first?
Go ahead.
Well, we have individual items for consideration.
It is the waivers for the class size for kinder through 4th grade, sir. We do have 11 waivers that we are submitting for the state for approval. Colonel Santos has the most, 2 in 1st, 1 in 3rd, 4 in 4th grade, Borchers, 1 in kinder, Gutierrez, 1 in 1st, Kelly Zapata, 2 in 1st grade, for a total of 11. We will submit our plan. Just for the record, this is the least that we've had in a number of years.
What is that? I mean, what's 2 and 1? Or is that the amount of kids that they have in their class?
No, sir, it's just 2 in that particular grade level. Waivers that are over 22 to 1.
And that's
okay.
And that's even though they're not physically present, that's just got to do with lining up the assigned teacher for the class.
Yes, sir. Regardless whether they were on campus instruction or remote.
We have a motion as presented.
So moved.
Motion a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None opposed. Motion passes. Item 3B, two additional appraisers for the 2020-2021 school year.
Mr. Velez, members of the board, ladies and gentlemen, we have one person to bring before you. This particular, next page, please. We have one person to present before you. This particular individual is identified here as Maria Thelma Solis. The reason for coming before you, is simply for your consideration so we can try to approve this individual to become an approved T-test appraiser for they to execute their duties when it comes to that particular function of appraising educators in the work center. Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None opposed. Motion passes. Thank you. So we're moving back to informational items. Item is update on extracurricular activities for high schools.
Yes, Mr. Bentley's members of the board, just to let you know, we started with athletics on Monday. In football, they are practicing in the morning from 6:30 to 8:30. Our volleyball girls are practicing, all 4 high school teams are practicing in the morning. In volleyball, we have 3 high schools, Alexander United LBJ, that are practicing in the morning from 6:30 to 8:30. And United South High School is practicing at 5 p.m. Our cross country is doing in the morning. And then tennis in the morning is United South High School. In the afternoon for team tennis is United High School, Alexander, and LBJ at 6 p.m. So just informational items. We don't know this point in time. I think, as I talked to Bobby Cruz and things are going well. Kids are showing up and, obviously looking at the safety protocols and doing the best that we can to protect those students and staff.
What about band?
Band, they're in the process, Mr. Rodriguez, Jared Rodriguez, in the process of doing the return to play. And we're looking at both, band, and we're also looking at cheer and dance. You know, I know Mr. Gonzalez and Mr. Don and I have been talking to Mr. Rodriguez. And as he begins to have I think he's got a good plan, he's gonna put it in place. We're waiting for some covers for the band.
The instrument.
Instruments that they ordered, I think, to hopefully help those kids. But I think the plan is to be able to space on the number of games that the band and cheer and dance, the number of kids that will participate. We're looking at putting whatever number of band members to go to the game, put them on the track to be able to space things out, probably use the chairs that we use for graduation. So same thing, cheer and dance, we're trying to get the groups, and hopefully our seniors will be able to attend all the games, and then they can fill in with their juniors, sophomores, and freshmen, both cheer and dance and that organization. Probably volleyball games at this point this year, we probably won't have any cheerleaders or dance team in the gym, because I mean it's confined and it's kind of short, but that's the direction we're going, and we're hoping things work out well for us.
Know that volleyball starts on spectators.
Yeah, volleyball should start next week, if I'm not mistaken. And I think our football starts in October.
Oh. No, I'm sure you all do have a plan for spectators on like volleyball and football. They'll check the temperature.
Yes. Anybody, as you're aware, we're going to be giving the players a set number of tickets, either 3 or 4 per player. And they'll be spaced. Now, if it's a whole family coming in, obviously they can sit together. It's not an issue. But coming in, they will be checked on temperature. Same thing with the players or coaches coming in. Anybody coming into any of our facilities on 1, temperature check. Number 2, they got to wear face masks. Players.
I was going to say, I think, you know, how the booster clubs are very instrumental in a lot of things in these groups that are participating in extracurricular activities. It seems like meetings where the discussion that gets expanded into the families, you know, typically the families are very supportive of the kids that participate in this extracurricular stuff. And we need to optimize the communication to the families about what they can do to minimize the chance. Because one of the things we've talked about a lot is the idea of maybe somebody having an exposure somewhere else and coming to the event in school, and then cross contamination.
Yes, sir. I know that Friday, all the athletic coordinators and Bobby Cruz, they had a virtual with all the parents at all the 4 high schools. And I think yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, they did the volleyball. And the whole purpose, going back to what you're saying, they've got to hopefully stay in a bubble to protect both students and rest of the family and everybody.
And it's really important that they know that the policies that we have will put an instantaneous stop to the whole group if somehow they end up contributing to the problem.
Yes.
So they have to be a part of the team more than they ever had before.
And I know they relayed that information on Friday, and yesterday was for the volleyball team, and I know they're setting up for cross country and the tennis. Yes.
So
And then,
your times, you're mentioning very specifically a while ago, the different times the kids would be on campus. So even though it's possible that you could have more people present on an occasion, like say a game, because you might have a band there, you might have cheerleaders there, you might have to watch the social distancing
yes.
and everything there.
Yes,
but
sir.
on the campuses, it seems like you're segregating out the times that they're there to completely different times for the most part. So you don't have them all there at the same time.
Yes.
And that seems like a really good practice. Another thing that might be an interesting use of our law enforcement people is to have the law enforcement people providing sort of an independent look while they're there to be, you know, vigilant about warning people either at an event or maybe even kind of going and looking around at the practices and different things and reminding people, you know, those guys, it would be good if they knew the policies too.
Sure. Yes, sir. We'll relay that to them.
Santos,
Yes, sir.
no student is being bused to the practice area
No, at this point in time, no, we've had a little change of heart, Mr. Ramirez, and what I've asked Bobby Cruz is talk to the coaches and really identify if there's any students that really need transportation that they would not be able to participate. I'm getting a list, and we're able to help them out. We definitely want to look at that, sir.
Yeah, I guess it will be the same thing, what you just explained to me. If whenever the games starts locally on the different schools from the two districts, right?
Yes, we will, during the games, we will provide transportation to and back, to the game and back from the game stuff.
But it will be few, right? Just like the way you mentioned, that it will be those who really needed transportation to the field and to the game.
From the camp, yeah, right now y'all are discussing from the campus to a particular event.
Right, well, right now on practice, what we're doing is I've asked Bobby Cruz to ask the coaches if there's any student that will not be able to participate because of distance. And if we do have some, I'd like to identify who they are and to see if we can help those students. You know, you've got a couple of students in Peñitas, you got a couple of students in Rio Bravo, Cenizo that might not have access to be able to get to practice or on 359. So we're going to identify those and then try to see how we can help those students. Now, during the games, we will if it's at the SAC football game, we will transport to the games. Obviously, could take 3, 4, 5 buses to be able to keep distance to the game. And then after the game, obviously, bring them back to the campus.
And so we're still talking varsity only. And then potentially if things go well through this winter season, the springtime, some of these sub-varsity groups might get to have their season late.
Yes, sir. We're looking at junior varsity all the way to our middle school and all the way through dance, cheer, any of those activities for our students.
As the other districts kind of acquiesce to something like that. Because I know we play, let's say, each 7th and 8th grade teams play a lot of local.
Yeah, we normally, at the middle school, we play each other. Now we got so many schools that we're able to play each other. And we have them in 2 different brackets, small school and big school. Junior varsity and freshman team, normally they would travel and go and play the teams that would play on like the non-district games. It might have to be, we might have to play neighboring district and at least to get some games going, play each other. And even if they play each other, you're talking about competition, it'll be very good competition. All their schools are good size.
You mentioned about the testing. You're looking into testing some of these students.
Yes, Annette Perez is working with, I think it's a state agency. It's the same agency that goes to Sames Arena to do the testing. We're trying to see if we can get them to come to our school, set it up at the SAC, and be able to try to get our students, our athletes, and any student, like from 8 to about 11, it's free. They go test themselves for the COVID. So it's Saturday and Sunday. So we're going to try to set it up and invite our, not only athletes, but any student. Then, of course, it's open to the public from 11 to 4 o'clock, those 2 days.
Not required, not necessarily.
Not required, but
Voluntary.
voluntary and
But I know your seniors are going to start in about 2 weeks.
Our seniors start actually next week, sir. On
next
Monday.
week.
So they're going to mix in, or athletes are going to mix in with the student, the academic population is going to mix in now.
They could, sir. But what we're finding out is, like this week was only special ed. We were curious to see how many of them are going to return back to school because some of them, the hours are set so that they can log on or log on to their remote teacher. So, or go to school.
I think our coaches have a good plan. I've seen their pod, I've visited Alexander, and they have a very good, safe plan.
On campus, yes, sir. On
And
campus,
so-
it's excellent.
It's what the other
Factors.
factors that I can't think of.
What we don't know yet, and I guess I'll try to get that report from Mr. Cruz to find out how many of those students that are in the football team are doing remote. And we're also stopping at 8:30 in the morning. And the reason 8:30 in the morning is first period is athletics. So students have an opportunity to go home, shower, get ready for, if it's remote, for that second class. So yeah, you're right. They have a good plan. I think we're hoping this thing will work well for our kids. Second item there is information regarding the redistricting. Redistricting, obviously, that's what determines the boundaries for the school board. For the last I guess, 10 years, we've worked with a gentleman by the name of Rolando Rios, that's been the attorney. And Mr. Rios, he did it in 2000 and 2010. Really, at the end of the day, is to make sure that the variances is 10% between each board member. And of course, as boundaries and districts grow, then you've got to make some adjustments, but he's done a very good job for the district. I just want to share with you, we're going to go out and we're going to put what's called a request for competitive quotes. It'll be under 50,000. Obviously, it's a board's option if they want to interview all the firms, or you want for me to make a recommendation. I mean, I could do that. Last time that we brought anybody here, I guess, I think there was 5 firms. These are firms that really need to know how to do the redistricting. It's very different just to get any attorney to work on that. I mean, they've got to make sure that they've got to follow a whole bunch of civil rights regulations and so on and so forth. But we're going to put it out on the street. I think last year it cost about $33,000. This year it'll be between 33 and maybe 34, 37. But I want to just share that with the board. Obviously, that happens after the census come in, and then they'll begin to work. And last time it was Rolando Rios out of San Antonio. I think he's very easy to work with.
Do we have to open up the bid process for this?
Well, what it is it's open, but what happens here is it's under 50,000. I can make the recommendation. I mean, it's something I want to share with the board.
Right.
Last time they brought, maybe 2 years ago, 10 years ago, they brought different attorneys to interview. But now with our request for competitive qualifications, then you really limit the scope. People have experience in that. But I just want to share that with you. We're going to put it out on the street. We'll probably have to come back to the board after the census are in and begin to share with the board on boundaries.
Santos,
Yes, sir.
will this be done after the election day, sir?
Well, this will be done, Mr. Ramirez, when the census numbers come in, sir. So you're probably looking, I guess, sometime in maybe January, February.
Yeah, it wouldn't affect until the next 2 years.
Yes, yeah. It doesn't affect anything now. It could affect the people who are running 2 years from now on the change of boundaries.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Just for the record, Alisa Oliveros joined in at 12:17.
Yes, I'm present. Thank you.
All right, at this time, we'll move to closed session. We respectfully request everyone remain hold as the board adjourns into closed session. Time is now 12:20, and the board will adjourn into closed session pursuant to sections 551071 and 551074 of the Texas Government Code to discuss agenda item 4A. We'll be back shortly. Agenda item 5, reconvene from closed session. Time is now 1:06 p.m. The board will take appropriate action on items if necessary as discussed in closed session. There are no voting items. Agenda item 6, adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
Motion second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All meetings adjourned at 1:06 p.m. Thank you. Good afternoon.